have a solid cast here of recognizable faces and some unknowns that I'm not familiar with, like, Ariana DeBose and John Gallagher Jr. and Euron Greyjoy. I'm sorry, but I can't say his name. I can't say the actor's name at all. He has squiggles in his name, and I can't pronounce squiggles. I don't know. It's like the A and the E and the U are all like one letter. I'm just like, I don't know what that is. Good luck to you. You're Euron Greyjoy from now on. I'm sorry, sir. That's how it has to be. He's got like a Swedish name, chat. I might as well call him Bork Borkenshin. That's what he's gonna be. Good old son of Swedish chef himself. I'll state at the top and say that space is just terrifying to me. There's no doubt that it's filled with wonder and beauty, and human civilization has barely even tapped into the infinite cosmos that is our universe.
If you can't take a little bloody nose, maybe you ought to go back home and crawl under your bed. It's not safe out here. It's wondrous, with treasures to satiate desires both subtle and gross. But it's not for the timid.
I almost quoted Q from Star Trek. I did? Oh, that's cool. Nice. That exactly what I did, of course. Maybe I can find the clip and put that in there. That'd be fun. But it's also really scary, and movies have shown just how horrifying it could be, from its cosmic infinite void to the monsters that lay eggs in our chest, chat.
Oh, no. Not again.
It's just very scary. So couple that with the director of Blackfish, who showed how scary killer whales are, and you could have like a pretty entertaining and thrilling movie with I.S.S., on your hands. But to give you a bit of a background on the premise of the film, a synopsis, if you will. While a worldwide nuclear conflict breaks out on Earth, U.S. astronauts and Russian cosmonauts receive orders from their respective countries to take control of the International Space Station by any means necessary. So, before jumping into my thoughts on the film, I thought it would be cool to point out that the screenplay for I.S.S., which is written by Nick Schaefer, has been on the blacklist since 2020. Now, that might sound like a bad thing, but the blacklist is actually an annual survey of the most liked motion picture screenplays not yet produced. While it doesn't guarantee that these are the best scripts, there is a certain allure to them. And such screenplays from the past that have been the blacklist include some really good movies that I'm also a huge fan of, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are big fans of too, like Argo and 10 Cloverfield Lane, Juno, Spotlight, most recently like They Cloned Tyrone, and even other great stuff like Slumdog Millionaire. So that aspect intrigued me, along with the sci-fi thriller premise for I.S.S. I'm a sucker for a good bottle film taking place in a singular location. It's intimate, even claustrophobic, and relies a lot on dialogue and the actors' performances. So everything about I.S.S. on paper sounds great. It's right up my alley. And the idea that we have this like taking place on board the International Space Station just sounds really cool to me. We have these astronauts and scientists, working together from all across the world. Whatever the differences our countries have, that's all down there. Up here, it's our time now. We're about cooperation, science, and the betterment of humanity, no matter where we originate from, right? But, when thermonuclear war breaks out, all that kind of goes out the airlock. And, for the first half of the movie, it was giving me everything I wanted from the premise and the concept. 3 American astronauts, 3 Russian cosmonauts working together and getting along, witnessing together this horrific event that's transpiring on Earth, and then the mistrust and the tensions just steadily builds over time between the groups and the other characters. You know, did they get the same order that we did? Are they listening into our conversations? Are they trying to kill us? Are they trying to sabotage the station? All of this is tense. You have everything's like in hushed whispers, and it's all done with these big, wide smiles, right? Along with the claustrophobic environment and the fact that you can't leave because you're in space, because it's a death sentence, chat. You know, it's some of my favorite aspects to a lot of horror films. It's like, we're dealing with something dangerous inside here, but outside there we'll die. It's like Alien, or even like The Thing, you know, or just the vastness of space itself is the monster. And all of this, I think, is working in the movie until they just stop doing all that. all that great building with tension and all these wonderful performances, and they just decide to get really dumb. So dumb. It becomes the action thriller we've seen hundreds of times for so many years. It becomes the forgotten sci-fi thriller that Netflix just shits out every other week to no fanfare because no one even knew that it existed. Instead of keeping so many things a mystery and crafting tension, it just decides to unleash its big load, and show everything because, for whatever reason, it doesn't think all the mouth breathers in the audience, everyone that's watching, will be able to piece things together. They might not understand the subtlety, so let's all show these dum-dums what's actually going on. It's like almost a new writer or filmmaker just came in for the last half and said, yeah, this all this tension, great dialogue, intrigue, get that shit out of here. Here comes some cartoon-level sci-fi space shit. That's what I want to do. The characters just become so cartoony by the end of the movie. Mustache-twirling bad guys, even though you establish that they're not that at all. Which is sad, because you have a solid cast here of recognizable faces and some unknowns that I'm not familiar with. Like, you know, Ariana DeBose and John Gallagher Jr. and Euron Greyjoy. I'm sorry, but I can't say his name. I can't say the actor's name at all. He has squiggles in his name, and I can't pronounce squiggles. I don't know. It's like the A and the E and the U are all like one letter. I'm just like, I don't know what that is. Good luck to you. You're Euron Greyjoy from now on. I'm sorry, sir. That's how it has to be. He's got like a Swedish name, chat. You know, I might as well call him Bork Borkenshin. That's what he's going to be. Good old son of Swedish chef himself. You know, they were all doing like a really good job. But then their personalities just jumped to an 11. And these scientists, who are critical thinkers, stop thinking logically and critically and start doing and saying the dumbest things possible. The ending is also, I think, really unsatisfying. It's kind of like the cherry on top of the shit sundae, if you will. We had like a good sundae at first. It was really good, but then big old turd nugget was dropped on us. It kind of just shrugs its shoulders and goes, well, what are you going to do? That's kind of like the last line of dialogue. Well, what are you going to do now? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not sure. I don't know. There was something, I'll be honest, there was something I thought the film was setting up with a particular lead character, that I thought would have been kind of fun and interesting and made like a really neat, kind of nasty twist. But it feels like all of that setup was for nothing. Or maybe they had like originally filmed that big reveal, you know, that would have been like, oh, and changes everything from the events of like, you know, the first half of the movie. Like, oh, that's what's been going on. And maybe they'd done that and it didn't test well, or the studio just didn't like it at all. I don't want to spoil what it was, but it was definitely frustrating to watch because I'm like, is this what you're building towards? Is this what this is going to be? It'd be kind of cool. I mean, you're kind of messing up here with the second half, but it's like, well, if you kind of ended that way, ended strong and do what I think you're going to do, then it's like, all right, this will be, it'll be a good movie, not a great movie. And they don't. They just don't. And yeah, it's frustrating. Frustrating is how I would describe this movie because it was doing so well at the start. I was like really liking it. It reminded me so much of one of my favorite thrillers, sci-fi thrillers from the 2010s, which was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was another blacklisted script, which I mentioned. They made some changes to fit in the Cloverfield universe. I was like, God, this is so good. And they did such a great job in the first half, and it just becomes a completely different movie after that point. It dumbs itself down when it just didn't have to at all, which makes me sad because, again, I was really, really enjoying myself. And I don't know. I do wonder if there was just some behind-the-scenes changes, and they had originally... We're going to just have it just be really tense and always keep up the mystery even into the second half. And we wouldn't really know until at the end, like, what was actually going on. And it's like, then this is revealed. It's like, oh, that's what's happening. Or maybe like the last 10 or 15 minutes is when shit just gets crazy. If that was the case, then I would have been like, okay, good. But they just don't do it. They just don't do it. It's too goddamn bad because it has a lot of great potential. But yeah, chat, that's my opinion on I.S.S. I guess it also makes sense why they dropped it in January, because maybe they didn't have a lot of confidence in it. Usually that's the case for so many January. Not every January movie. There's been obviously a lot of notable exceptions, of course, over the last few years. But yeah, this January, chat, it's been kind of rough. It's been kind of a really rough January. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. With Night Swim. Did not start off well with Night Swim. Haunted Swimming Pool. That wasn't great. And then we had the Book of Clarence. That wasn't very good. And now here we go, chat, with I.S.S, International Space Station. This one had the most potential, though. Out of the three that I've seen, these new movies, this one was the best one. It just drops the ball so much in the last half, which is too goddamn bad because it had so much good in it in the beginning. But yeah, that's my thoughts on I.S.S. Has anyone seen this movie? I'll let you know. There's not many people in my audience, chat. I don't think this movie is going to do particularly well. Very curious to see how this is going to perform. Did you like it? Were you kind of, I don't know if I'm more in the middle. I'm not sure. I guess I'm kind of in the middle with this movie. Or did you just outright hate everything about it? Let me know.
5 minutes later.
It's pronounced Assback? His name is Pillow Assback? I'm going to call him Euron Greyjoy. I think Euron Greyjoy is a much better name than Pillow Assback. That sounds like bedroom talk. Get the pillow and have your ass back. That sounds like. That sounds like pillow talk. Or maybe I should call him Bjorken Bjorkenschen, son of Swedish chef.